Baby, this is the second season of the new kid on the block.
I know, yeah, I know, yeah, I got issues, I know, oh yeah, I know.
We're back live and this is the new kid on the vlog, giving you another rendition of an amazing episode. I am TSEPANG and this is NOMVELO. With the turn of an era, there's always a revolution that must be led. And today in the building, we do have someone who has taken up arms to actually say he's here to lead the revolution. Ladies and gents, we do have in the building Mr. Nhlanhla Lux. How's Nhlanhla?
Hey Tara, thanks for having me and hi to all the viewers at home.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. How are you doing, NOMVELO?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be here and
Yeah.
I'm excited for the insightful conversations we're about to have.
Yeah, man, and we like to hit the ground running. With the new kid on the vlog. But before we get into things, we'd like you guys to make it a point that you subscribe, like, and make sure you comment, because this is going to be an absolutely amazing sit down with Nhlanhla Lux and NOMVELO.
Sure.
Without any further ado, to get straight into it, man, just give us a brief background about yourself, having grown up in Soweto, the differences you've seen back then, and what Soweto is to you right now.
Yeah, so I'd like to always, before I speak, remind people that, number one, I'm not a politician. So the amount of honesty that comes out of my mouth is too much, especially for even systems and people to handle. So the question is the difference in Soweto. The difference, honestly, is pathetic because it's minimal. There's no difference between 94 and 2021. The difference, some people will jump and say, but Maponya Mall wasn't there, Jablani Mall wasn't there, there's a big progress. These are private institutions. Private people that come and make the difference. Where is the government difference? If you can show me the government difference, I'll be happy with you. There's no difference. So I can't sit here and start smiling and saying, yeah, the difference is amazing because I'm trying to push brand Soweto. If it's pathetic, it's pathetic. And that's why we're here, to make sure there is a difference.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that Soweto Parliament, obviously that's the job that you guys do, to make sure that there is a difference and to say, hey, government, where is the difference? Because it cannot be that so many years have gone and there's still no difference. So I'd like you to just take us through Soweto Parliament, the kind of work that you do and the kind of challenges that you have encountered in doing this work of holding the government accountable.
So Soweto Parliament is an accountability structure led by young people. Its fundamental purpose is to give young people a platform to exercise leadership outside politics. We are non-political. We do three things. The first one is to hold government/politics accountable for service delivery in Soweto. Second one is economic accountability. All the businesses trading in our space, we hold them accountable and we help them understand why it's important for them to participate in the development of the township. And the third one is social accountability. We hold ourselves as Sowetans accountable. There's a lot that we like pointing fingers, but we don't check ourselves. We need to check ourselves and make sure that we play a proper, responsible role in the fundamental growth. And we must be at the center of the development of Soweto.
Nhlanhla, we're going to try and make this as easygoing as possible. But, just if you could just point out, what could you say fundamentally are the three most exigent issues right now in Soweto? I know you can give us a long list of what the issue
look, the first one that's pressing is the electricity issue. But a lot of people don't want to look at problems for what they really are. We live in a culture where everything is politicized. If I ask you what time is it, you must politicize the answer. Just tell me it's 2 p.m, damn it, or it's whatever. Do you understand? So if you look at the electricity crisis, the blackouts and the power cuts, they are a result of our government not being in proper action to make a difference. Why I'm saying this? We've inherited everything from the apartheid government. The electricity infrastructure, we inherited it as it is from the apartheid government. And the Land Areas Act of 1959? 19 in the 50s, the Land Areas Act itself, when they passed that act, they were passing it and they were executing it on a certain number of population that they know how many people in Soweto. Right? So right now, let's just use simple numbers for people to understand. If the electricity infrastructure was designed for 100 people to consume the power, we are now sitting on 1,000. That's times 10. Do you think the infrastructure will hold?
Absolutely.
So we should stop playing games. The only solution is to change the entire infrastructure so that it accommodates 1,000, perhaps 1,005, so that we can accommodate for the growth. Soweto has all of a sudden now emerging businesses of accommodation, student accommodation. People from Limpopo, people from other provinces are rushing into Soweto because of this UJ.
Yeah.
Now you must understand something. When you start building the triple story, double story, what are you saying? Population does what?
Yeah.
And the infrastructure comes from where? There's no special cable that flies in the air to connect to a res. It's still the old infrastructure that we're using from the apartheid government.
Yeah.
So again, it's pathetic because we can't show what our government has done. Instead, we play games and we fix this transformer, tomorrow that one. And you go back 8 months later, the one that you fix is also because the entire infrastructure is poor and it's pathetic.
Yeah.
So that's the one issue. Another issue is youth unemployment. Youth unemployment is disgusting. Let me speak for Soweto. Majority of our youth is idling. Majority of our youth is high on drugs. Before, if you looked at Soweto, we used to be a very a vibrant sporting community. If I can take you back over stars after stars after stars.
Yeah.
But now I can't tell you who's in the PSL that comes from Soweto right now. You have to think hard. Before, the entire PSL was Soweto because the two biggest teams come from Soweto. Leave the PSL out of it. Pirates and Chiefs, the two biggest teams in the country right now. Our derby is amongst the biggest derbies in the whole world, right? So who from Soweto plays in the Soweto derby? Alone, that tells you. Who's playing? The next Soweto derby. Who from Soweto is playing in that derby? Soweto derby. That shows you, man, we're losing out on the most basic things, which ripple effect into the country, losing out on serious things. And the third one for me is the education system. Our country is riding, again, we inherited the education system from the apartheid infrastructure. I'm going to give a simple example. If your mother can help you with homework, you must know there's a problem. Because your mother was subjected to Bantu education, special education that was designed for her not to be a producer, just a consumer of everything. Someone that must be employed for the rest of her life. So if she is able to help you with homework, what does it say about the current education system?
It's poor.
You must be able to walk into the house and say, my homework is programming. We must all say, what the hell is that? Because we are now saying that it's deliberate, it's intentional. We've got a program in place to make sure that the South African youth and students have the leading edge as much as the youth in China has a leading edge.
Yeah.
So those are the fundamental problems right now for me. Electricity, education, and unemployment of the youth.
And just as a side note, man, before NOMVELO asks a question, these are issues that are generic actually to every location.
Yeah.
It's a Khayelitsha problem, it's a Tanzania problem, it's a Kwezi problem, every single location has these generic problems.
Yeah.
And it feels so good, man, to talk to someone who's here to address all of those things, because we can take this platform as well and put it in the faces of all the people that come from those townships, which is why we're here, so that they can get to understand your approach. And you've said you want to give us a blueprint, because I listened to you quite attentively when you say all of these things, because I can identify. You said you wanted to give us a blueprint so that we can take this and run with it to all of the other locations that we come from.
I think what I like the most is that you speak about young people and the challenges that they face and all of that. We are a platform that is passionate about young people and young creatives as well. And there are lots of them in Soweto. Many of them. Super talented. Super talented.
It's been their home for a while.
Exactly. Super talented. But the unfortunate part is that so many of them have given up with their talent and all of that because of lack of opportunities and all of that. And you have certain institutions within Soweto, like your Soweto TV and things like that. So I'd just like to know what role Soweto Parliament has played or is looking to play in terms of assisting such young creatives who are sitting there with their skills, with their abilities, with their talent, and they are a bit hopeless because of how things are at the moment.
Look, what we've done with through Soweto Parliament is that examples, institutions such as Soweto TV that have been captured for all these years. If you look at the broadcasting license from ICASA, Soweto TV, it says it's a community channel TV station, and therefore it must reflect what the community is. And if you look at Soweto TV, do you see Killer Cow? The biggest brand in Soweto, Dondada, Material Culture, do you see that? So where am I the crazy one, or is there a problem? There's definitely a problem. So that tells you that as Soweto Parliament, we've been able to at least break the chains and cut the chains of the capture there at Soweto TV. And we've got young people who have signed up as brand new members across Soweto. The AGM is coming very soon. The board is going to be made up of young people from Soweto, so that the new direction of Soweto TV is directed by young people with fresh ideas, new ideas. It goes without saying, the young people are the future. So if you want any institution to have a future, you must make sure that it's led by young people. That's simple. Yeah.
You look very tired, and this is obviously because we're shooting after a day that you were standing guard in Soweto yesterday.
Sure.
Making it a point that the strike at the hostels wasn't affecting Maponya.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people misunderstand the person that you are and think that you are assuming a badge of a policeman or a soldier.
Yeah, I'm more than that. Yeah, I'm better than those structures. So I'm happy that they know that there's a difference already. Because when you think that I'm assuming a badge of a policeman, that means you've acknowledged I'm not. I'm happy you have, because if you thought I was, I'd be disappointed, because we are way more than that.
Yeah. So in enlightening us, because we obviously know that a lot of people even look at your regalia, and people will always hate what's revolutionary and what's progressive, and say, this boy Nhlanhla and all of that. But just enlighten us on the security structures and the command that you guys and the coalitions that you've created alongside the SAPS and community security. What's going on in that space?
Yeah, let me help you understand why I said I'm more than that, and we are more than that as a collective. It's because policemen are policemen in their space. They've got a jurisdiction of how they can exercise their powers. JMPD is JMPD, Johannesburg Metro Police Department. They've got jurisdiction. For example, the bylaws, just for them to attend to, it's within their jurisdiction. Police can entertain bylaws. When we are saying we are more than that, because our jurisdiction is everyone. Whenever there's something to do with bylaws, we are there with Metro Police. Whenever there's something to do with criminality, we are there with SEPS. Whenever it's bigger than both of them and it's to do with the national or provincial office, guess who's there? We are there. So that's why I'm happy that it's understood we are not police, because that means our jurisdiction is limited. Ours is unlimited. So people suffer from complex Eliauba inferior. So as soon as people understand that you are doing things that they can't even imagine, forget just doing, then they must find a reason for them to speak negative. Even those that say, Baba gets ngcono, you must understand that we are so sober in our leadership that we even lead those people. When they are sleeping at night, they sleep peaceful because we make sure the streets are safe, that no one is going to get into their business or personal property to do anything. Those are our efforts. So we are not selective in our leadership. We lead those that like us. We lead those that hate us. We lead those that are poor, rich. We lead people that are educated, uneducated, narrow-minded, open-minded. So we're not concerned with who thinks what of us. Even if you both are here and you're thinking very negative of us, you very positive of us, what matters is that you are both beneficiaries of our leadership. Sure.
Now, as someone who grew up in Soweto, I'm pretty sure you also have other people that you grew up with who have seen the problems of Soweto and they've just said, you know what, I'm out. I'm not about to do this. So I just want to know, what keeps your passion for Soweto burning? Because you could have easily, like most people, just decided, there are just too many challenges. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not about to take any leadership. I'm not going to attend to these problems. Let me just go elsewhere and forget about these problems. But you have chosen a different route. What keeps your passion for Soweto burning?
I think it's the amount of success that we've achieved over the years. If you get into something and there's no trace of success, then you're going to, at some point drop out. Like how, if you look at dropouts at high school, it's not a student that drops out. Do you understand what I mean? So in this community leadership, we are A students. So that's why we're not dropping out. And if you look at who's supposed to be the leaders in terms of the systems, how they indoctrinate us, is that political leadership is the one that must advance anything that's a community program. If there's a program that's successful and that must advance anything in the community, it must come from the ANC Youth League or the what in politics. So that's unfortunate when it comes from independent thinkers. And let me actually explain that. We remain independent thinkers because if people like myself are absorbed into politics regardless of the political party, you know what happens? We have to start thinking exactly how the institution expects us to think. We have to articulate issues exactly how the institution expects us to articulate. We lose our independent thinking. So can you imagine the mental prison that I would be as a person? With the little experience that you have of me, imagine if I was being told what to say and do and not to think. I'd probably kill myself. Then I would be a dropout.
Yeah. I can relate to that. Sure. You know, you always have your ideas.
Yeah.
In fact, you always have your ideas or independent thinking before you go to varsity and you join certain political structures and you're taught in a certain way. And part of the things that I've seen is that these political structures will tell you, hey chief, you don't go and lambast the name of the organization in public. You know, and already you can already tell that if someone is speaking like that, they're already suggesting that we know we're wrong, but just don't go and tell the public. And I think it's something that's been adopted from youth structures to structures that eventually deploy governance, you know, and it's sad to see because that's the mentality that's groomed from very young, high school even. I'm not going to mention any structures, but from high school even, that's the mentality that's kind of groomed.
Yeah, you see right there, you say you're not going to mention any structures because you've been conditioned to be scared. You must mention these structures. They are killing our youth. Look at a young person in a position of power, is scared of being honest. Why? Because you must be politically correct. Some rubbish.
It is.
But carry on.
It is.
Sure.
Yeah. That's your honest viewpoint. And I mean, at a point when I'm ready and like you, because obviously this is something that we'd like to take to where we come from and you know, where we can share ideas and, you know, share ideologies. Maybe I'll feel comfortable enough to say ANC or EFF, but
you call them out. You call them out. Look, I personally have nothing against the ANC or EFF. As a matter of fact, I think that young people who you know choose politics, they must make sure that they go into politics because that's the life they chose. But they must also understand that now it's a new era. They've got other young people who are in accountability structures that are going to hold them accountable. Because young people go into such things as politics because they must chow the tenders. Joe, with us around, there's no chowing of tenders. If there's 100 million allocated to building basketball courts in Soweto, 100 million will build basketball courts in Soweto. Forget Durban July and what. There's none of that. You must kill us first. You must move out the way. Make sure that we are suppressed in a corner and locked up somewhere before you can go to Durban July with our people's money. And that's it.
That's so true.
Sure.
So where I'm getting to as well, you know, I was watching you on a news platform and I did have this conversation with you over the phone that I feel like you were really misunderstood. And I think we also want to present an opportunity for you to be able to clarify what you said, because much as politicians are very much responsible for driving very silly narratives in you know, when they try to protect them chowing money or whatever. A lot of news houses are also responsible for driving narratives that are not necessarily going to benefit anyone. You know, an innocent man trying to do the right thing for the community is deliberately misunderstood and asked questions such as why are you marginalizing store owners in Soweto? So I just want you to come give us a bit of enlightenment on what are you trying to say to the people that own shops in Soweto, more especially the foreign shop owners in Soweto. What's your message to them, and what do you look to achieve at the end of the day?
So the foreign nationals in Soweto, what we have done is something that the entire country has failed to do. We've managed to sit down with the foreign nationals and say that, guys, you need to be organized, you need to have a leadership that can work with our leadership. We are not here to suppress your thinking or your rights to live in our space. We are here to understand you better, and it's also important that you must also be in a position to understand us better. our issues are ABC. What are your issues? ABC. We come together in meetings/conferences. We take decisions together. We took decisions that because of some things that I can't even explain here. Why? Because they are pending. I don't want to compromise them. I'm not explaining them because I'm scared. There's none of that. It's because it's a legal thing that is pending in certain areas, in certain offices. Now, but I'll explain lightly so that the viewer can understand. When you have our brothers undocumented here, it's easy for them, for other people to take advantage of them. Let's speak the truth. Why are the companies in such as Nando's, ShopRite, and any other company that's affiliated to European or American status, these are lutiwi kokas, but the foreign nationals balutiwa every day kokas?
Because they don't have refuge.
Besides refuge, they're in Africa. The systems are making us think that way. Number one, the education system should teach us proper history. They're not teaching us proper history. The reason why Maponya Mall was going to be looted but not sent in City and Melrose Arc is because history, education system has conditioned us, the black child, to see value in whiteness and not see value in anything that's black. If history can teach about Richard Maponya, these kids would pass that mall. Without that mall wouldn't need security on a normal day. Forget on the day of looting, because people would value it more. But we value Central City and we value everything else. Let's go back to our brothers in Soweto. We then say to them, we need to be able to hold you accountable, because you know that the reality is that amongst you guys, you fight each other for space, for business, for whatever else. So that type of anarchy can't be tolerated in Soweto, especially by people who we can't hold accountable. I always make an example. If one of the brothers take out a gun and shoot someone and that person dies, and we are sure that is the guy that's selling from this shop, but he ran away, I get to the police station and open a case against Pakistan. Akira, that's what we call them in the township. Who's Pakistan? It's an entire country. You're opening a case against a country. So we need to know it's Mohammed Mang. So when young people put infrastructure in place for the brothers to be organized so that we can hold them accountable, not only for bad things, even for good things. There's a lot that they do that people don't even know that they do. So accountability is not only for bad things. I can hold you accountable for the finest of things in life. Do you understand what I mean? I can hold you accountable for proving to me that you've taken 100 kids to school as per your claim. And then when I understand that you've done it, the report says you did it. It's a brilliant thing. Accountability is not always about bad things, guys. So whenever we say that we are now in a position to hold them accountable, do you know what happens? Human Rights Commission jumps. Why you want to hold them accountable for what? Do you know why they're jumping, that Human Rights Commission? It's because, number one, they're lying to the rest of the world that they're doing their job in South Africa. What job do they do? They do nothing here in South Africa, except they behave like Twitter warriors now. They just post on Twitter and tag people like myself. Nhlanhla Lux inciting xenophobia. For the last 10 years, I've invested my time and personal money to make sure that we fight criminality against foreign nationals in Soweto, because we're not going to tolerate criminality against anyone. I don't care where you come from. Where was the Human Rights Commission when the shops were being burnt and some people being killed? Do you know in the last 10 years how many people have died, foreign nationals have died in Soweto, in their shops from criminality? Do you know how many? Human rights will never tell me that stat, but I can tell you that stat because I'm on the ground working towards the development of such things. And then they are quick to say, this the same person, me, the same young person, I'm inciting xenophobia. When I've dodged bullets, I'm telling you straight, I've dodged live rounds, because of the efforts that we have in place to make sure that foreign nationals don't suffer criminality in the township. And then you have I'm sure people, it was the first time seeing the head of the provincial or national human rights. I don't know what that man is. They called him Prof. That lady was even calling that man with so much respect. When he speaks to me, so much disrespect. Turns around, but Prof. Hey, you're Prof. That's disgusting coming from that lady. I don't even know her name because I don't prioritize people that are narrow-minded generally in my life. But if you are productive, I'll always remember your name. So that Newsroom Africa lady, I don't even want her apology. She acted as if she's brilliant. She says, I watched your video and as if I'm well informed about what I'm talking about. And then she asked a question that was already answered. Why don't you post with these people to show that now you are not a dictator of anarchy against the foreign nationals in Soweto? I already posted that video. What are you talking about? Then they They get the head of the foreign nationals. The next day, they interview the gentleman. And the guy tells them straight what I told them. He even asked, where is Human Rights Commission when we're getting killed in the township? These guys are here. So how dare you want to frame them as inciting xenophobia? Because these guys protect us when we're in the township. So where's the human rights? Where's the Human Rights Commission in areas that are that are concentrated with foreign nationals? Where are they? And by the way, this thing our foreign nationals are only African is rubbish. We've got Italians, we've got people that are in this country that are foreign national. We've got the Chinese that are foreigners in this country. But we treat everyone else like gold and our African brothers like rubbish. So now I don't care whoever says, they are captured, brown envelope. You can say that all you want. We're going to continue as young people making sure that we unite at our level and we don't inherit our parents' rubbish, because our parents come through with a lot of rubbish, a lot of hate. When I say parents, I'm saying all races. Indian old people are full of rubbish. Black old people are full of rubbish. White old people are full of rubbish. You can name all of them. Asians, they're all full of rubbish. We get our hate from old people. So the only way for us to advance is what we are doing. We are setting the example in Soweto. You are seeing young Sowetans that are black uniting with other foreign nationals that are also black to advance the causes. Now in Soweto, we've got the a bursary scheme from the Spaza community that says that the top 2 students from Soweto will be paid for varsity of their choice. Where else do you find that? Which other township has such a thing? So isn't that progressive? So what human rights, what are they talking about that we are inciting xenophobia? Where's that coming from? How can they even justify that? But once they are done character assassinating people like myself, then they move on to the next one. Why? Because we don't have the platforms. And even if we did have the platform, then we are wasting our time. Instead of focusing on electricity issue in Soweto, now I'm focusing the next 6 months on proving my character is not what they're saying it is. What happened to 6 months? I've lost 6 weeks or 6 months of my life proving myself. So to hell with such people and organizations. They can take, if it's wrong for me to say to hell, I'm saying it again, to hell with them. All of them. Agnatab. Until you come on the ground and you sit with us and you show that you are invested in making sure that the development happens parallel and you don't become reactional, you are actually proactive with us on the ground, then I'll have better things to say about you. Until then, to hell with you.
First of all, please don't ever go into politics. Please don't.
Sure.
Because you would be like an elephant in a puddle.
Yeah.
That would literally just be a loss. So please do not do that. And secondly, people will always talk.
Yeah.
That's one thing for sure. And I've come to realize that the most misunderstood people also happen to be the most powerful. Mm-hmm. So that being said, you're very powerful. But what I want to know from you is, because many of the issues that we are dissecting here are not just, of course we are speaking of it in the context of Soweto, but it's probably a problem that you also find in Tembisa, for example, Alex, or any other township in the East Rand, or wherever, actually. So what I want to know is, if you could say one thing to the youth out there, what would you say? Just one powerful message.
Sure. So to the youth, for me, it's simple. The message that I always preach to the youth is that don't try save the entire country or the world. Go back to your people, go back to your community. Leadership is spiritual. If you can speak to the ancestors of the area, you are equipped to lead the area. Who am I to go lead in Venda, where I can't even take Snape and speak to the ancestors as Venda? What am I doing trying to hog leadership? Am I suggesting that Venda doesn't have enough leadership that it produces to lead itself? So the power is too central here. That's why absolute power corrupts. That's why we've got corruption. So allow people to lead their communities. Don't try to save the world. Go back to your people, save your people. And then if you all do right by our communities, everything falls into place. The country becomes a better place. The world at the end of the day becomes a better place. No one man is super boss for everyone. That's why I'm not even interested in running in politics and making a noise and lying to people and promising them things that I know will never materialize. That's the reason why you know me today, is because I chose to do right by my people, and my people are in Soweto. If the world wants me to anywhere else to share the blueprint, with pleasure. But otherwise, my leadership impact will always be around the people that I'll always know. Even if I take a knee and something bad has happened, I can even articulate my leadership to their ancestors because I know how to communicate. Leadership is very spiritual. It's not in the physical alone. Sure.
Just give us, because I think now is a very opportune moment for you to just give us briefly like what Soweto Parliament looks like in terms of the structure. Because for me, if I go to Tanzania, you know what they call him Tanzania? So it already tells you it's rough.
Kamshazaf.
Yeah.
Kona bullet and knife.
So if you go there, the beneficiaries of the wage driver, it's very easy for them to put a bullet in your head.
Yeah.
And those things are part of the things that discourage us as youth. You understand?
Yeah.
So how did you guys structure Soweto Parliament such that there are no victims of this revolution? Because if we're being honest, this is a revolution.
That's a big one. Advocating for young people to assume positions of power and actually go out and take them because power is not given is a big revolution. You are actually saying that you are ready to die for it. But again, make sure you are surrounded by young people who are ready to die for it. Because if you are surrounded by people who are just here for Facebook likes and to trend, you're going to fight a losing battle. So I'm surrounded by serious warriors. You take me out, you've got 20 other Luxes to deal with that you don't even know. You're in real trouble. It's better to know the person you are dealing with. Now you know me. You think it's enough. I can present to you 100 other Luxes from Soweto. Who some I even think that, you know what, if I actually step down and this one comes in, it's a problem. So you need such people. So you can't just be surrounded by yes men. You need to be surrounded by independent thinkers. Serious independent thinkers. We are not in politics. We don't wait for instructions from a certain office or a group of people to tell us the next agenda is this or that. We tackle issues for what they are. So our structure is an executive structure at the top that I lead as a president of Soweto Parliament. And in each community, we've got smaller structures that form part of Soweto Parliament. We don't, like I said earlier on, we don't need you to vote for us. We lead you regardless because we are not in politics. You see? So you must be able to draw warriors and people that understand that we're not leading fashion. We lead people that hate us. Listen, you must be able to see your Facebook and see someone says, to hell with these kids, they are white monopoly capitalists, and still come up with a program in the morning that helps that person have a better life when the sun rises. So that's all you need. That's the blueprint right there. But there is obviously more details to the blueprint that we are willing to share with all the communities that want it. And this Soweto Parliament is not for black communities, by the way. If there's a colored community like Westbury or even in Cape Town that want to have their own parliament and make sure that they hold their community accountable, every part of their community accountable for the development of their communities, they can reach out. We can give them what we've done, how we've been successful, so that they can start doing it as young people. Because you're not going to wait for 50 years for you to exercise leadership. You can never be. There's a reason why young people are being suffocated, being given hubblies. And when you see Instagram and social media that actually have young people don't actually understand what these things are as a tool of distraction, that's a conversation for another time. If you just open those platforms, you see our celebrities half naked and what, and that becomes a norm. It's indoctrination. I wish I could talk about indoctrination. Like you need 2 weeks for me to tell you about indoctrination. It happens. Yeah, look, it happens at different levels. And the people that are running the systems understand where the black masses are, the white masses are. So as soon as you speak about such platforms, you must understand that they are very dangerous platforms. As much as they are useful in many cases, because most of you know me from social media, and I use the platform to advance the causes because we happen to understand what these platforms are better than the normal person who uses these platforms. But again, we'll have that conversation in future because I know at some point we will come back here when we're articulating new programs that are national, not only Soweto, because that time is coming. But we'll never do it in politics. I can bet you R1,000,000 that I will never ever get into politics. The day I announce that I'm in politics, we're R1,000,000 richer. And we've got it on record. Sure.
Well, in that case, I hope to never have 1 million like ever in my life, because please don't. But before we close it off, you mentioned that there's a lot that you guys are, many pending issues that you're dealing with currently as Soweto Parliament. Please just take us through what it is that you're dealing with now and where to from here for Soweto Parliament.
Look, Soweto Parliament is not going to plan bigger because there's bigger attention. No. We're going to continue how we've been continuing. It's just that when a lot of people were introduced to Soweto Parliament, the country was on its knees, burning. And when you saw young leaders from Soweto Parliament being able to contain the attacks, and which gave confidence to other communities to also do the same thing, ultimately meaning that it saved the whole country. Now people are watching, guys, what's next? No, we're not going to be misled by the attention. So what's going to happen is that we continue as normal. What's current on our agenda is the education system, because that thing is very dear to our hearts. We need to make sure that in 10 years, 20 years, we are producing proper leaders of this country. Example, what's the South African economy looking like right now? What is the South African economy? The answer is mining, is agriculture. But where do you see mining and agriculture in the education system? Why isn't mining a subject in high school? But mining is a subject in Germany, where people don't have minerals under their ground. So what does that mean? That means that those kids in Europe, where it's very cold and the nature didn't give them diamonds and golds, they must come lead this economy, and we must be conditioned to work for them while they are doing it. And these leaders in politics are happy with such a thing. So what's pressing on our issue is that on our list of priorities, we need to come up with an education system that is in line with our economy, so that our kids can lead this economy. Right now, you and I don't lead this economy. We are spectators of this economy. I don't care how much they make noise in that parliament. They're still wasting time because they're not addressing the serious issues. Listen, to change the education system is not a 10-year plan. If you are deliberate and you are intentional, you really want to do it, next year, when schools open, there's a new education system. So look, we have put together retired teachers, current teachers, to come together and develop a practical education system that will make sure that people leave matric with skills. You must be able to have skills that put bread on the table when you leave. We in the street corners, doesn't mean that we don't have matric. Our people are flooding the street corners with a matric, because our matric is useless. And maybe if they didn't hear me clear, our matric is useless. Minister of Education, our matric is useless. President, our matric is useless, meaning we are producing useless people. If the system is useless, whatever it produces is also useless. So it's fair for me to say we are useless because of the education system has conditioned us to be useless. This country is useless. So let's just come together and make sure that we create a better future and useful people, because we are not useful. I built my house recently now. Everyone who was participating in the development of my house construction happened to be foreign, because we don't have the skills floating around. A simple skill as practical bricklaying. We say we are conditioned to believing that no, you must study biology and photosynthesis because bricklaying is for the slow people. Slow. You must go to a special school for bricklaying. What do you mean? Why can't that be part of? There's a contract. The construction contract, Diabo, Murray and Robert and Group 5, the big construction companies, right? When you're building a 20-story building, who are the slow learners recruited to build that building? So they mustn't lie to us about such things. We need to change the education system and make sure that kids they graduate with practical skills. Yeah.
Yeah, on a much lighter note, it seems your name has caught traction amongst the ladies. It seems quite a number of them want protection. and they'd like to know if you're married or not. Just on a lighter note.
Sure. So no, I can give all the ladies protection, no problem. No problem. As long as they like I said, as long as they are within our space, they are beneficiaries of our leadership. So protection comes very easy.
It's guaranteed you heard for yourself.
Yeah, and then
for agreeing to rock up, it was a very easy conversation. Yeah. You know, you didn't give us a run around. It was Nhlanhla, this is what we're about, and you were like, surely, young man, you can do this. So you're a living testament that you don't just preach things and in hindsight you are looking to benefit in some other ways. Thank you so much. And I know this is going to be one of our best episodes because it's going to touch the hearts of the people that need to go back and change their own lives. And with that said, Nhlanhla Lux, Soweto Parliament. Thank you so much.
No, appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Yeah.